Hello, and thank you for joining us. This is Dwayne Reno with Building Block Associates. Today's webinar will discuss the slowing Loonie and food costs. This is a webinar for the general public and for food service operators. We're going to look into a few things today with this webinar. Mainly, though, is how the shrinking food prices will affect Canadian food service operators, and just the end of maybe a few other things as well. All right, so in January of 2016, we saw oil prices reach a 13-year low and China's economy slow down. Also, our Canadian loonie has been losing ground to the American dollar, causing food service operators and Canadians alike to wake up to sticker shock. We are now in October, or the ending of October, I should say, and the loonie has held steady for the first few months, resulting in lower food prices at local grocery stores. But what does this mean for food service operators? As this Canadian population begin to reap the benefits of shrinking food prices? 1, will Canadians continue to dine out? 2, how will shrinking food prices impact the Canadian food services industry going forward? These are two of the major points that we'll look at and focus today on in this webinar. Okay, so for 2016, the Canadian dollar has began to struggle due to many global factors. Okay, so these things there's many factors contributing to I would say, I don't want to call it an outright deflation at this point, but there is a bit of deflation currently happening in the Canadian economy. The Canadian economy is currently experiencing some minor deflation. This is due largely in part by the falling global oil prices. We started the year with cauliflower costing $8, leaving many food service operators searching for alternatives or removing the ingredient outright from their menus. But fast forward to October 2016, and for the first time in years, food prices dropped. We're looking at some pretty significant drops in staple items. For every province, this drop has taken place. In August, according to the Statistics Canada, with the exception of Alberta, who was hardest hit by the collapse in oil prices. Well, we'll see. We'll monitor that maybe for another webinar, what's going on in Alberta. But that's a very, very big subject, especially because that's where most of our oil comes from. But maybe another webinar, we'll see. Okay, so shoppers are also very pleased to see prices going down. So the general Canadian public is really happy to see that these prices are falling on food, since we've been seeing over the last, I would say, between 3 to 5 years, we've been seeing a pretty gradual increase in food prices. Shoppers will be pleased to see prices going down on food items at their local grocer. Commodity prices, in most cases, are half of what they were in 2012. Products such as corn, soybean, oats, beef, and pork are but a few products that have decreased in prices. As North American agriculture is performing well, crop yields are high, and this will tend to keep our prices lower. There's another thing that we should also keep in mind as well. Chicken is actually on its way up. This will probably be something we'll tackle maybe in another upcoming webinar, but that is one of the items where the prices is trending upward, and there is a reason for that, largely in the fact that just like cheese, there is a supply system for chicken. But again, we can touch on something like that in the near future. Okay, the latest data also shows decreases in average prices of many staple food items from July to August. These items we're looking at, for example, stewing beef. There is a 39-cent decrease. We're looking at $16.53 per kilogram of stewing beef. Bread, we're looking at about a 3-cent reduction there, from $2.99, sorry, for 675 grams of bread. Also, carrots, we're looking at about a 24-cent decrease, $2.22 for a kilogram of carrots. Although insignificant at this point, it's not like you're gonna be saving a huge amount of money here. If food prices continue to fall, it could lead to more competition in the future for food service operators. And this is the kicker. Competition is great for the general public. So anyone in the general public listening to this webinar, competition is already here, and this is good for you because not only are food service operators going to have to get much more creative, but their pricing is going to have to get is going to have to justify the meal. Okay, so now will these lower food prices encourage Canadians to cook more at home and dine out less? One thing is for sure, the lower food margins will lead to increased competition from other food service industries. So that's what I want to take a look at now. The other players that are going to come into the food service industry or try to take from the food service industry. Simply because, again, when margins start to fall for food retailers, i.e. grocers, they're going to want to take their customers from somewhere else. Dwell time needs to increase, and where's the dwell time gonna come from? Well, they're gonna bring in food. They're gonna try to get customers to increase their dwell time or stay longer in the grocery stores by enticing them with food purchases. Okay, so the first part of the competition that I want to look at is competition from food retailers selling prepared meals. So as food prices at grocers continue to fall, one of the repercussions of that you will see is grocery stores competing directly with food service, which has been going on for quite some time. This is actually not very new, but you will see more increased competition coming directly from large grocers in regards to trying to increase their dwell time by bringing in prepared foods. We're seeing this, for example, with Loblaws, one of the largest grocers in Ontario, I would say pretty much all across Canada. You walk into a Loblaws nowadays, it pretty much looks like a restaurant. They have professionally trained chefs. I've spoken to many food service operators who specialize in one thing. For example, say it's steak, it's a steakhouse. You can go to Loblaws and get from steaks to sushi. The list goes on and on. Cold cuts, you can get, if you're vegan, there's everything is there for your consumption. So you will continue to see increased competition coming from food service from grocers regarding food service operators. Okay, so one of the main things that they will do is they will use meals to increase their dwell times. This will be done by enticing customers to sit down and eat, maybe even joining their establishment with established restaurants. Like, for example, you see this quite a bit at Walmart. Walmart is a massive retailer, sells not just food, but they also sell clothing, etc. And the way that they've increased their dwell times is a lot of times they partner with McDonald's, and the longer people stay, it's been proven that the more they'll actually spend at your location. Okay. Larger variety of prepared meal offerings at lower costs. Another thing that they will do is they will offer a wider variety than what can be given by your typical food service operator at a lower cost. These guys have much more capital to back what it is that they're doing, so it's easier for someone such as, say, a Loblaws to introduce an item that is on your menu. Like, for example, if you are a food service operator specializing in steak, it's easier for Loblaws to take steak from their inventory, cook it in their kitchen with their professionally trained chef, and offer it at a lower price point than you are, because they're backed by investors. There's multiple reasons why they can do this, but that will be one of the approaches that they will use to not only increase dwell time, but to get customers to stay. Another thing that we're going to notice is competition from online food delivery services. And whether this is non-prepared meals or prepared meals, you will continue to see Blue Apron, all these other online food distributors gearing up, trying to take advantage of customers who want to explore now. Now that food is a bit cheaper, maybe you want to try and cook more ethnic foods. Maybe you enjoy going to Mexican restaurants but want to see if you can do it at home. There's a lot of online food delivery services that will actually cater to this. They will bring Mexican food to you or bring you the non-prepared ingredients for you to cook it yourself at home. Okay, changing meal plans prepared by trained chefs. So we're seeing you with the online food delivery services, you're seeing that they're able to consistently change the meal plan. Whereas a restaurant, it's pretty much a set meal plan, unless they introduce a seasonal menu. You'll notice that the online food delivery services, they will be able to change their meal plan. So if it's a non-prepared meal, you'll usually get weekly changes to the meal plans. Whereas and if it's a food delivery service, you will see multiple new restaurants being added to the service. So this is and these meals will be prepared by trained chefs. For example, if you're seeing the non-prepared meals, like for example with Blue Apron, those are they have chefs putting those meals together. So this will be very tough competition for food service operators going forward, and this will come directly from online sources such as online food delivery. Okay. Also, the fact that it's do-it-yourself and cheaper than eating out. Do-it-yourself is a popular thing right now, and many people, especially with the Food Network, creating a lot of at-home chefs. People want to explore new dishes, new items. This is achievable with online delivery services delivering non-prepared dishes. And especially with recipe cards, it's easy for a novice cook to make a very professional meal for his or her family. So these are some of the factors that we will continue to see regarding competition for food service operators. Again, a lot of this is very good for the general public, but for the food service operators, it's good to keep this in mind, so that way when you're building your plan, your marketing plans, you can see where you need to understand where your competition is coming from, so that way you can build a plan that is strong enough to approach that competition. Okay, so now what I want to look at is just a few points of what independent food service operators can do to remain competitive. Okay, Sylvain Charlebois, Dean of the Facilities of Management at Dalhousie University in Halifax, states that he and other observers expect a continued decline in food prices across Canada, likely for the next 6 months or so. The food service industry over time has become a much more promotional heavy environment. What that basically means is if you look at many of the larger players, like the fast food chains, they're relying heavily on their promotions to draw in new customers. So by increasing your marketing volumes, that is the formula that the competition is using, the larger competition is using. So this is definitely a formula that can be adapted by all independent food service operators across Canada to let customers know about what is being offered by your establishment itself. Okay, many of the larger fast food chains rely on bundle meals to drive their sales, and this is something that's working very well. Breakfast, being all-day breakfast has kicked in at McDonald's a couple months back. It's not performed as well as they've expected, but it's performed extremely well for them. Okay, a few other things would be independent operators should start looking for ways to increase their marketing output, advertising more within seasonal promotions. Okay, so by offering seasonal promotions, this gives you more content to speak about and more things to help you generate foot traffic. Okay, also regularly update your in-house promotions. Continue to change those things. If you notice something works well, change it, update it, make it more appealing, make it newer again. And if something isn't working, either remove it or add something totally different. But continue to change your promotions, because these things not only help you drive customers, but they also help to create word of mouth. And again, word of mouth will always be the best form of any marketing for any independent food service operator. Okay. Another great point to look at is focus your attention online, as many Canadians are now using customer review sites and search engines to find new places to eat. Okay, so look for ways to generate online product placement. So whether that's through some of the more popular customer review sites or search engines, find the formula that's going to work best for you and your brand. These online review sites will help in regards to driving customer traffic and letting customers know what you offer. And again, in a promotion heavy environment, increasing your marketing volume is the best way to do things. So if right now you know that your marketing volume is pretty low, you want to step up your marketing volumes, and the best way to do that is online, because a lot of these online, it's either going to be affordable or free, right? Again, find what works directly for your brand, and definitely don't be shy to contact Building Block Associates. We help independent food service operators increase their marketing volumes and also their in-house marketing. So that's online marketing and your in-house marketing content. That's something that we actually do for our clients as well. So feel free to let us know what if this is something that we could help you with. If you can't find another source, like another from one of the other the larger customer review sites, etc., to help you, definitely let us know. So thank you very much for joining us for this our first webinar. There will be other content to come. Also, feel free to contact us and let us know if there's a particular topic that you're interested in at this point. Even if it's something that we are covering in the future, we will definitely look to expand this content based on suggestions. So thank you very much for joining us once again. Have yourselves a great day, and we'll see you guys again. Take care. Bye-bye.